our 2018 Doak Walker Award winner, Jonathan Taylor.
Vern, thank you. I want to be a stowaway with Vern and Nancy next time they travel the world. That sounds like fun. Congratulations. We've heard about you from your coach, from others. You've seen the highlights. What does it mean to continue to represent Wisconsin as the fourth winner now? 4 is the most winners of the Doak Walker from any school now.
It's an honor. It's a blessing. I wouldn't be here. I want to give a thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But, first and foremost, this is it's unreal. You look at the guys, you look at Doak, who set a wonderful example for the guys to come after him, and you look at the guys at my school who have won it previously, and you come to Wisconsin and you know there's a standard. But that's why you come here, because you want to be a part of that standard. You want to carry the tradition. So just coming in here, wanting to carry that tradition, wanting to make my mother and father proud, it's everything that drives me.
How much pressure is it now on you to do better and help Wisconsin win more games?
To be honest, it's really no pressure, because you already come to a program like this because you want to become a better player. So you have no problem going out 6:30 in the morning, 7, working out, trying to get better, studying the playbook. You have no problem doing that because you come to a program like this in order to become the best player that you can be.
Very good.
I was just talking, you heard me with Coach, talking about your wiring and being selfless and being worried about winning in the team. And he talked about different people that may have had an impact on you, and maybe it's just you and the way you're wired. What do you think about that competitive spirit and being as much about the team as you are about yourself?
Well, really, I know whenever you're playing selfish, you kind of pull back a bit. You might be hesitant about something. You might be unsure or uneasy. But when you're playing for the man next to you, your brother, you already know that I'm going to give it my all. Just like if it was your mother or your father playing next to you, you would do everything in your power in order to make sure that you were doing your best possible. So when you're playing with your brother, you do everything you can for him. You love him, and that's what drives me.
We were talking about it's great. Love to hear that. We were talking about the connection of New Jersey to Madison, and there's a great history there. What was it about Madison and going to have a chance to play for the Badgers that made you ultimately want to go there and play football?
Originally, a guy from Glassboro, New Jersey, which is about 30 minutes from Salem, Corey Clement. I would watch him in 8th grade, and he would shred through South Jersey like it was nothing. So that kind of triggered me, saying he's from the same area as me, 30 minutes down the road, why can't I do the same thing? So that kind of clicked in my head and started to drive my sophomore year in order to become a better football player. And, what better way to become the best running back you can be than at Wisconsin?
Absolutely.
We were talking about recruiting. There's such an emphasis on the 5-star guys and the 4. You didn't come out with a super hype reputation. You didn't have every school in the world showering you with offers. You just kind of showed up as a 3-star recruit, eager to prove yourself. Talk about that. Just kind of the notion that you have these numbers of stars attached to your name, and that's going to define you as a player, when really it doesn't.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Coming from a school with about 300 kids, a graduating class of about 60.
60?
Yes, 60.
Wow.
So very small. You get a lot of, you don't know how's the competition he's playing against. It doesn't really matter. One of the biggest things you got to do is you're supposed to dominate your competition. Whether you're playing in a Texas school, you're playing in a small New Jersey school, whatever you want to do, you want to be the dominant player that you can be, the most dominant player. So that's what I tried to do when I was in high school, and I feel like any kid can do that. And if you look at, even in the NFL, you look at the guys, so many guys that are in the Super Bowl that came out with 3 stars, 2 stars. It really just is a determination of how much work are you willing to put in.
almost feel like that's becoming the trend. Like when you watch the Super Bowl or you watch these big games, it seems like there are a lot of 1 stars and 2 stars. Maybe it's because they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, or they have, like you said, hunger and desire and something to prove. But it seems like more and more guys are kind of falling into that category. It's cool to see.
I wanted to talk about how you ended up this season, because being a Jersey guy, you play in the Pinstripe Bowl, so right across the river from Jersey is Yankee Stadium. You must have had a bunch of home folks there watching the game. You run over Miami. You have a monster game. You're running for touchdowns in Yankee Stadium. That had to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Had a tough time trying to get family and friends there. I was fighting Aaron Croshank, who's from Brooklyn, and Jack Cohn, who's also from New York. I was trying to fight those guys for tickets. I think Croshank ended up with like 61 tickets or something crazy like that. So,
What's your count?
I had 28.
28?
Yeah, so I was
Ain't
trying
bad.
to pull teeth to get tickets, but it was an experience, man. And one of the biggest experiences I had was showing the guys on my team the areas that I knew in New York, showing those guys the lights at Times Square. That was really fulfilling for me, just because those guys have never seen it before.
So you got a monster freshman year. You improve. We talked about this season, about what you're working to improve upon. Now you had a monster sophomore season. Now, as Coach Chris said, you seem like a guy that stands for all the right things, would be a leader anyway. But now stepping up as a junior with 2 years under your belt, talk about looking forward to having that even increased leadership role with this team.
Yeah, I can't wait to become a leader even more for this team. First 2 years, really tried to lead by example as much as possible, but as well as develop the vocal leadership that I know I can be. And going into this year, I'm really going to be really more vocal. I just want to be the kind of leader that the team looks up to me as. I know there are some guys on the team that look up to me, and I have no problem with that, because I want to show these guys, how I work. I know those guys are working as well, but I just want to do everything in my power to help push those guys to become better, because I know they're doing the same thing to push me to become better.
So much is asked of guys who play college football at the highest level. It's hard to understand if you don't go through it. What have you gotten out of it? What are you getting back from Wisconsin for all that you put into it?
I'm really getting back the art of self-discipline, and I feel like that'll take you far in life. You stick your mind to something, and you follow a schedule. You know what you have to do. You know the tasks that need to be done for the day, and really, I think that'll apply far in life. You're going to a job. You know what you have to do for the day. You know your task for the day, and that'll take you far. So really, I just think self-discipline is one aspect of being a college athlete, but the thing about it is you love it. So every morning you wake up with a smile on your face and know that it's time to get to work.
I know one thing about it. You're a great young man, and your mother and father's here, right?
Yes.
I'd like to see them, meet them.
Where?
They're right behind table 81.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stand up, yeah.
Hey.
Stand up. Absolutely.
Hey!
Talk about what a big impact they had on your life.
Reason.
One of the biggest things is consistency. Every morning when I was younger, I would wake up, see my mother going to work, father going to work. They're very consistent, and I feel like that really translated over to me coming into college football, because one thing my father always talked about, I don't know if anybody, how many of you have seen him yet, but he likes to work out a lot. And one of the biggest things is he always talked about was consistency. He said if you want to get stronger, you want to get faster, you have to be consistent working at it. So I really apply that every day in my life, whether it's academics or it's on the field or during a game. I want to be as consistent as possible. Consistency will get you far in life. Anyone can do something great once or twice, but the elite guys are the ones who can do something great over and over and over again.
How much did they help you with your Christian life?
They tremendously. My mother would take me every morning. When I was younger, you really don't understand when you're really young. Why do I have to get up on Sunday every morning? And then, as you get older, you start to realize, the type of relationship that you can have with Jesus. And that's one of the biggest things I feel like is implanting that seed in me when I was young. It really helped me understand it. It was very easier for me to understand it once I got older rather than trying to implant it in me once I got older.
That's awesome. It's just great to see you represent your family and your school and the sport of college football. I think you'll treasure this. This will mean even more to you as the years go by. But whether it's Jonathan or Johnny, you don't need awards or accolades or the Hall of Fame to define what you do as a player or represent as a person, but it sure feels nice to have it, I'm sure. So congratulations once again. Jonathan Taylor, folks.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You're the best. Talk to you soon. Okay.
Hey, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, man. Yeah, you take it. Yep. Good job, man.